Hello, this is Usama Naga. This is a pediatric intensive review in pediatric dermatology. My objectives in this presentation: a comprehensive and complete review of pediatric dermatology. A clinical case scenario precedes most high-yield cases covering high-yield facts. By the end of this presentation, you will be comfortable with dermatological conditions and board questions. Full-term newborn girl born via spontaneous vaginal delivery has a normal physical exam except a solitary area on the scalp that is hairless, yellow, brown, orange in color, oily, round, and has orange skin texture. What is the most likely diagnosis? Cutis aplasia, nevus sebaceous, alopecia areata, or tinea capitis? Correct answer: Nevus sebaceous. Nevus sebaceous is congenital, born with hairless area with orange skin texture and color. Aplasia congenita is different from Nevus sebaceous. Cutis aplasia congenita, no skin, missing skin, and commonly seen on the scalp but can occur anywhere else in the body. Nevus sebaceous of Jadison is a high yield. Usually appears at birth as area of alopecia. Very simple. The most simple description: area of alopecia looks like alopecia areata, but the skin is different and appears congenital from birth. And the skin looks like orange skin. This is the best description. Usually it looks yellow or yellow brown or orange color, sometimes pink, but is well circumscribed area without hair, and it has the velvety texture of the orange skin, and typically on the scalp, appears on the scalp, and there is a small chance to be transformed to be malignant, about 2.5%. It is acceptable to monitor the patient without any interference if there is no change, but selective excision during later childhood can be considered. 10-year-old girl is presenting with itchy skin in the elbow and behind the knees. The mother tried over-the-counter hydrocortisone cream, and the rash keeps coming back and continues to be itchy. Sometimes she bleeds from the itch. On exam, she has erythematous, thickened skin with excoriations on antecubital and popliteal areas. What is the treatment of choice? Change hydrocortisone from 1% to 2.5%, continue hydrocortisone and start antibacterial soap, change to topical triamcinolone 0.1% and keep the skin well hydrated, refer to a dermatologist. The answer is change to topical triamcinolone 0.1% and keep skin well hydrated. The mother already tried low potency topical steroids. You have to move up to higher potency, like topical triamcinolone, which is mid-potency topical steroids. Atopic dermatitis or eczema. Eczema is a chronic inflammation. Very important to teach the patients it is a chronic condition, meaning there is no cure. It may remain for life. So it is a chronic inflammation of the skin. The cause is unknown, but combination of inheritance and environmental factors are important. You will see it running in the family, in the father or the mother, passing the eczema to the kids, even grandparents. Food allergies also, but less common trigger. Associated with atopy syndrome, which is allergic rhinitis and asthma. Simply, I will explain the vicious circle of the eczema. First, you start with itchiness. The skin is very itchy. And when the skin is very itchy, because of the itchiness and mechanical trauma to the skin and the outer layer of the epidermis, will be loss of stratum corneum. Stratum corneum, what will keep the skin well hydrated and prevent water from evaporation. And when you lose the stratum corneum, the skin will become dry. And when the skin becomes dry, it will become more itchy. And the more itchiness will cause more inflammation. And more inflammation will give more itchiness, and so on. The first step in the management of eczema is the correct diagnosis. Pruritus and itchiness is the most important manifestation of eczema, itchiness. And the itchiness will cause loss of the outer protective layer, cornea stratum. And when the patient doesn't have cornea stratum anymore, the skin will be dry, and the dryness will cause more itchiness, and the itchiness will cause more dryness. And because of frequent itchiness, the skin will be injured, and you will see the skin here is abraded. So the abrasion of the skin is well known as excoriation, sometimes even bleeding. And the frequent itchiness also will cause thickening of the skin or lichenification. Also, eczema associated with hypo or hyperpigmentation depending on the original color of skin. Eczema is a chronic condition, and also relapse is very common. Location of eczema varies according to the age. In infants and toddlers, face is the most common location, trunk and extensor extremities. But in infants, it's very easy to make the diagnosis of eczema if you are confused if it's eczema or not. Examine the diaper area. The diaper area is always spared. You will see the skin in the diaper area is always healthy. Why? Because of the moisture in the diaper area is always moist, not dry, so no inflammation. So from that, we will learn and will teach the parents if you keep the skin well hydrated, this will help a lot in the management of eczema. During childhood, you will see the eczema more located in the antecubital area, which is the frontal part of the elbow, or the back of the knee, which is the popliteal fossa. During adolescence, more common in the flexural areas, plus the hands and feet, sometimes the face or even the neck, but always with significant pruritus or itchiness. 15-year-old girl with papules surrounded by erythema feels rough on the upper outer arm, also on her face, thighs for the last few months. What is the diagnosis? We'll discuss here different types of eczema. The first one, Keratosis pilaris. Keratosis pilaris, you will see papules with surrounding erythema. It feels dry and it feels like sandpaper. The most common location is the upper outer arm. Also, you may see it in the face and the thighs. It is autosomal dominant, so it's very common to see it in family members, especially parents. Keratosis pilaris is a benign condition, often improve with time, but may remain for life. Very important to avoid irritants. For example, any products with fragrance. Keratolytics are highly recommended. For example, lactic acids or lactic acid cream or lotion, urea cream or glycolic acid. This will break the blocking keratin and will help to improve these papules. Also to keep the skin hydrated all the time by using, for example, CeraVe or Eucerin. This is a 2-year-old female with history of atopic dermatitis. She has flare-up and the flare-up worsened despite the use of topical steroids, and now she has fever and malaise. On physical examination, she was noticed to have numerous monomorphic vesicles, crusts, and erosions. What is the most likely diagnosis? Is it just eczema flare-up or eczema herpeticum or impetigo or viral exanthem? The correct answer, this is a classic presentation of eczema herpeticum. Eczema herpeticum from the name is herpes simplex virus infection. Usually occurs on the top of a skin problem such as eczema or seborrhea dermatitis. Presents with fever, widespread of vesicles and crusts and erosions. Complications, it may travel to the eye and will cause keratoconjunctivitis, bacterial superinfection of the skin. Diagnosis is a clinical diagnosis, but if the case is not clear, you may do herpes simplex virus culture, T-Zank smear, or direct fluorescence assay or PCR. Management of eczema herpeticum in patient management in severe cases, IV acyclovir 10 mg per kilo per dose every 8 hours. Antibiotic if secondary bacterial infection, control the pain and fever, and provide IV hydration. Outpatient management in mild to moderate cases, acyclovir 20 mg per kilo per dose 4 times a day. If the calculation exceeds 800, the maximum dose is 800 mg 4 times a day, regardless the weight. Don't apply topical steroids on eczema herpeticum, no need. Bland emollients, this is the best to keep the skin hydrated. Lesions on eyelid require immediate ophthalmology consult. A 7-year-old patient presents with hypopigmented, slightly scaly patches on the cheeks that have been present for several months. The lesions are asymptomatic and the patient has a history of dry skin. What is the best initial treatment for this condition? Oral antibiotics, topical steroids and skin hydration, antifungal creams, oral iron for 4 months. Correct answer, topical corticosteroids and skin hydration. Another common type of eczema, Pityriasis alba. Pityriasis alba is a skin hypopigmentation, very common to show in the face, especially in the summer. The management of that, to keep the skin hydrated, to reassure the parents this is not anemia, and if it's obvious, very obvious, and causing any trouble to the patient, you may apply low potency topical hydrocortisone, and for the face it's better to use cream. Very itchy localized skin lesion. What is the diagnosis? Tinea corporis, nummular eczema, urticaria, or psoriasis? The correct answer, this is a classic case of nummular eczema, usually coin-shaped, localized, and very itchy. Nummular eczema, very common, very important to be familiar with, and always mistaken with tinea corporis and mistreated. So is a coin-shaped scaling or crusted plaques that may become hyperpigmented. Because of the severity of the itchiness, it may look different. It may become discrete, sometimes buggy, vesicular, like it has vesicles. Because of the severity of itchiness, also it may become infected and it may show some pus and infection. Management of nummular eczema, frequent application of emollients, use high potency topical steroids until the lesions or the lesion disappear. Use antibiotic if secondary bacterial infection. General management of eczema. If we understand the pathophysiology of eczema, it's very easy to understand the management. First symptom is itchiness, so we have to manage the itchiness. Part of the management of itchiness is to give oral antihistamine, and the best is first generation, such as hydroxyzine, diphenhydramine, because it has sedative effect. It's anti-itch and also it has sedative effect. This is the best to manage the itchiness associated with eczema. Then the skin is dry. We have to manage the dryness because the dryness will cause more itchiness and will make the eczema worse. So we have to manage the dryness of the skin by providing a thin layer on the top of the dry skin of ointment. The best is ointment, not cream, or heavy cream, not lotion. So this will help the skin to stay moist because the patient already lost the stratum corneum, so the skin will be dehydrated very quickly. And you have to apply very frequent, 5 or 6 times a day, to keep the skin always moist and greasy. Then we have to manage the inflammation. How to manage the inflammation? By giving topical corticosteroids. So topical corticosteroids with different strength depending on the severity of the eczema. So you can use from low potency to high potency depending on the severity. For how long? Until clear. So you can use it for 5 days, for 7 days, for 10 days, for 2 weeks. As long as there is inflammation, you have to continue to use it. Once the inflammation is clear, you may use it once or twice a week to prevent the flare of eczema. Let's summarize what we have discussed in the previous slide. Management of eczema emollients. Ointments-based emollients is a cornerstone of therapy, very important. Corticosteroids, very important for inflammation. Ointments-based is better than cream. And you can use it twice daily until clear. Then you can use it as needed or twice a week to prevent the flare-up of eczema. Keratolytic agents, you can use it in cases of keratosis pilaris or ichthyosis vulgaris. You can use lactic acid or citric acid. Antihistamines for anti-itch, you can use cetirizine or loratadine, second generation during the day because it's not sedative, but at night it's very important to use hydroxyzine, first generation, or antihistamine in general, first generation like diphenhydramine because of the sedative effect. And this is more effective than cetirizine or loratadine. Antibiotics if secondary bacterial infection, allergen elimination. Also very important to recommend to the patient to use non-cleanser soap. Again, management of eczema daily, frequent bathing to keep the skin well hydrated. Apply immediately after the bath moisturizer. This will keep the skin more hydrated and will keep the moist under the emollients. Trigger avoidance, like avoid using high potency soap, like strong soap with fragrance. Use non-cleanser soap and shampoo. Topical medications, like we have mentioned, like topical corticosteroids. Management of pruritus, especially with first generation antihistamine. Management of superinfection, like virus or bacteria. Systemic therapy in severe cases and phototherapy. Be familiar with different strength of topical corticosteroid. We have low potency like hydrocortisone. It comes in 0.5, 1%, 2.5%. And low potency is recommended to use for infants with seborrheic dermatitis, with infantile eczema. You can use it in the face, on the trunk, on the extremities. It's very effective. You can use the ointment. It lasts longer. Also for older children, you can use it in the face. It's not recommended to use for eczema on the face medium or high potency corticosteroids. Medium potency steroid like triamcinolone 0.1, 0.5%. It comes in ointment and cream. Betamethasone valerate 0.1%. So you can use medium potency for eczema in areas other than the face. High potency for severe eczema, like betamethasone dipropionate 0.05 or clobetasol propionate 0.05 or fluocinamide 0.05 for severe eczema. Other treatment options in cases of eczema: topical crisaborole or Eucrisa. This medicine is approved for 3 months and older for mild to moderate eczema, especially if the parents are concerned about the side effects of topical corticosteroids. Other treatment options is subcutaneous biologic agent dupilumab if topical treatment has failed, and this is approved for children 6 months and older with moderate to severe eczema. Bathing is part of management of eczema. The frequency up to daily. The benefit will hydrate the skin, remove crust, allergens, and irritants. Is recommended to use non-soap cleansers and hypoallergic detergents for washing the clothes. Neutral to low pH soap with pH 4.5 to 7. Use hypoallergic and fragrance-free soap and products. Short bathing, soak and smear mean that after bathing, apply emollients on the skin immediately. You may also use bleach bath because will decrease the staph colonization and decrease the frequency and severity of eczema. Fungal infections. Thrush. Oral thrush is a very common problem among young infants, characterized by white plaques overlying erythematous base on the tongue, on the gums, and on buccal mucosa. This may cause irritability and poor feeding. And the treatment is oral nystatin. In resistant cases, you can use fluconazole, oral fluconazole. So use the tongue depressor, try to remove it. If it's removable, this is a white coat from the milk. But if it's not removable, it's very hard to remove. This is a classic presentation of oral thrush. Diagnosis of A and B. Sciurion is a severe form of Tinea capitis with hair loss and inflamed buggy skin. It has pus inside. This is Tinea capitis with scaly skin with hair loss scattered on the scalp. Tinea capitis, very common, very high yield, very important to know how to make the diagnosis and how to treat. Keywords highly suggestive of Tinea capitis. 2 words, very important. Alopecia and scaly skin, dirty skin because of the broken hair and the skin is inflamed. Compare that to alopecia areata, the skin will be shiny and clean. Also can be associated with occipital lymphadenopathy. Most common cause trichophyton tensorans. We have different types of Tinea capitis. First one, alopecia type. Alopecia type, you will see one or more round or oval areas of hair loss. And you will see the skin is scaly, skin looks dirty, doesn't look clean, with black dots. What will cause the black dots is the broken hair. Why? Because of the trichophyton tensorans. Second type is inflammatory or Sciurion. So inflammatory, you will see the skin the same, also area of alopecia, and the skin is scaly, dirty, but inflamed, swollen, and tender, and feels buggy, like you feel like a fluid under the skin. It represents an inflammatory reaction to the fungi and occurs fairly late in the course of the disease. This is the worst form of Tinea capitis. And the fluid you feel underneath is a pus, so it's suppurative buggy lesion. The last type I will discuss of Tinea capitis, seborrheic type. It mimics seborrheic dermatitis like hair with dandruff. But in the case of seborrheic type Tinea capitis, you may see patchy or diffuse whitish to gray scale, thicker than usual, thicker than the regular hair with dandruff. And you may see alopecia, but will be subtle, not complete alopecia like the previous case of Tinea capitis.